Kencing pula. Tak nak minum. Ha? Ya. Aku buat dulu mungkin dia dengar je macam sekejap 2 minit dan tanda dulu dia datang balik. Tak okey, tak. Panas kan lagi ke kabut. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Nahmaduhu wa nasta'inuhu wa nastaghfiruh. Wa na'udzu billahi min syururi anfusina wa min sayyiati a'malina. Man yahdihillahu fala mudhillalah wa man yudlilhu fala hadiyalah. Asyhadu an la ilaha illallah wa asyhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad kama sallaita ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim wa barik ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad kama barakta ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim fil alamin innaka Hamidum Majid. All praises be to Allah. We praise Him. We ask for His help. We ask for His forgiveness. We seek refuge with Allah from the wickedness of ourselves and also from the badness of our deeds. Whoever been given guide by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, there's no deceiver for him. And whoever been deceived or been misguided by Allah, no guider is for him. I bear witness there's no God except Allah, only Him. No associate for Him. And I also bear witness that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is His messenger and His servant. Oh Allah, give good prayer for Muhammad and the family of Muhammad, as you have been giving, have you give good prayers for Ibrahim and the family of Ibrahim. Oh Allah, give blessing upon Muhammad and the family of Muhammad, as you have give blessing upon Ibrahim and the family of Ibrahim. Innaka Hamidum Majid. Verily, you are always well praised. Our topic today, inshallah, we'll go to the second base or second rules of self-purification. Last week, we took the first lesson concerning self-purification. That is about the tawhid as the base or origin of self-purification. Means that nobody can be cleansed, can be purified his soul unless after tawhid. That's why all the prophets peace be upon them, taught us, and the first thing to be taught is about Allah. There has no other and God other than Him. And also the Prophet SAW, when he sent his disciples, his companion, to preach Islam in far places, he told them that the first thing they have to ask the people to do is actually to bear witness there's no God except Allah. So basically, without the Tawheed, without the proclamation of the oneness of Allah, no purification for the soul can happen. That's why from the start we said you have to have the real or the truth understanding about your God. Then only you can have your soul being purified. If not, then although a person can I would say learn about good manners and good etiquette, but the inside his soul there is still what we say association with Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala in His power, or He associate Allah Taala in doing dua or supplication towards Allah, then we can say that nothing happened there. Nothing is happened because without Tawheed, all his deeds is actually being abolished, will not accepted by Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala. So Alhamdulillah, that's our topic last week. Then today, inshallah, we'll go to in the second topic is Al-Qa'idatu Thaniyatu. The second rule, Ad-du'a'u miftahu zakatin nafsi. Ad-du'a'u miftahu zakatin nafsi. Supplication is the key of self-purification or soul purification. I don't use the word prayer, because I don't want to confuse our class, our terms between the prayer of salat that we do five times a day with the prayer meaning making supplication towards Allah, to ask from Allah Ta'ala something is called supplication. So we will use the term supplication, then the usage of prayer, because always being in Islam, the word prayer or salat always being associated with the distinguished ibadah, yakni that is to do a movement and speech that starting from takbir and ending with salam. That is salah. When Allah Ta'ala said to us, aqimus salah, do the salah means for us to pray. But the word pray we translated here, I want to confuse all of our audience, so I use the word supplication, means that to make to ask from Allah, to ask from Him, or to make a request from Him humbly, by humbleness, because we are depending to Him. That is called supplication. So ad-du'a miftahu zakatin nufus. The supplication is the key to the soul purification. Qala an-Nabi alayhi salatu wassalam, the Prophet, upon him salat and salam, said, laisa syai'un akrama 'ala Allah Ta'ala min ad-du'a. There's nothing is more honorable before Allah Ta'ala than supplication. Means that many things being done by human, but the biggest thing that Allah Ta'ala look at is honorable to Him is actually the prayer or the supplication. Even our prayer, our salah, inside the salah is actually supplication, always supplication. Between the sujud, you say Allah maghfirli, oh Allah forgive me, and the start of the salah is actually the recitation of Surah Al-Fatiha. Recitation of Surah Al-Fatiha. And Surah Al-Fatiha is actually consists of praising Allah, making declaration to Allah Ta'ala about you as His servant, and then after that it's actually about asking from Allah Ta'ala guidance. So it's actually connected with prayer, with supplication, inshallah. So nothing is actually more honorable to Allah than the dua. Allah Ta'ala always look at the dua as the biggest thing that his servant can do. Many things can be done, but the supplication to him is actually the biggest one. Fadu'a'u, supplication, min afdalil ibadat, is among the best act of devotion. Ibadat, act of devotion. When you do something to show that you devote to Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala, then doa is actually the best among the act of devotion to Allah. Lianna fihi izharan lil ajzi wa iftiqari wa tadalluli wa inkisar. Because inside the dua, in the dua, in it, there's a display of weakness from the servant, neediness towards Allah, humbleness, and also the word is inkisar, mean brokenness, means that you don't have any power or any demand you can do towards Allah, or we say that total loss, total defeat in front of Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala when you recite your supplication. And also inside the dua, al-i'tirafu bi quwwatillahi azza wa jalla wa qudratihi. There's also an admission to the strength of Allah azza wa jalla, his power, ghinahu wa ighna'uhu. Ghinahu, his sufficiency, and his enrichment. He himself doesn't need anybody. So we call that as ghina. In Arabic, we call ghina. Inna Allaha ghaniyun. Verily Allah is sufficient. Sufficient means that doesn't need anybody else. Wa ighna'uhu, then he enrich and he give everything for the thing to exist. So Allah Ta'ala doesn't need anybody. We call ghina. Aghna'uhu actually means that he himself the one that enrich everybody, anything else other than him. Other than him, Allah Ta'ala enrich it to exist, and also to continue the continuous to existence. Wa kibriya'uhu, and also inside the dua is also it's actually a form of display of our admission toward his arrogantness. Means that Allah Ta'ala he made himself as the biggest, the most important. So when we do the supplication, we actually admit that Allah SWT is the most being held to. So fine, okay. And also Astaghfirullah al-Azim. And also okay, the inside the dua or the supplication, there's an admission, or a person will admit that Allah Ta'ala, he actually the splinting of his enemy, the splinting of his enemy, broken feeling. Allah Ta'ala is actually covering anybody, even the one that doesn't worship him, is getting everything from him. Means that if a person feels sad, the one that make them to be happy is Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala. That is for the one who doesn't worship him. Let alone his beloved and protected, distinguished people. Allah Ta'ala also is the one who give everything to them. And also, we have to know that supplication has a good effect in opening doors of goodness. As been said by Sheikh Islam Ibn Taymiyyah, rahimahullah, in his will to Abi Qasim al-Maghribi, this monk, what being told by Ibn Taymiyyah to his disciples, his students, he said that there is ad-du'a miftahu kulli khairin. Dua is actually, or supplication is the key for every goodness. every goodness a person get is starting from the dua, or from the supplication. Fakullu khairin tarjuhu li nafsika. So every goodness you hope for yourself. Wa turiduhu min khairatid dunya wal akhirah, and you wanted it from among the goodness of dunya and the dunya here and afterwards in akhirah. Fatlubhu min Allah. Ask it from Allah. Ask it from Allah. Walja ilaihi, and turn to him. Walja ilaihi, and turn to him. Fi nailihi wa tahsilihi, in achieving and accomplishing it. If you want something, then you have to pray to Allah Subhanahu wa Taala. Okay, this is we will go to the terms why supplication is actually very important. First, we look at what we said here. He said here also, waqad wa'adallahu subhanahu, and Allah Subhanahu wa Taala have promised. Man da'ahu wal taja ilaihi bil ijabati. Whoever supplicate to him and turn to him, ask from him, with the reply. He promised them with reply. He will give the reply to them. Allah Ta'ala said in the Quran, in Surah Al-Ghafir, verse number 60, wa qala rabbukum ud'uni astajib lakum. And your Lord said, ud'uni, supplicate me, ask from me. Astajib lakum, then I will surely reply to you. I will reply to you. So the means or the things about prayer, or what you say, supplication, its effect on our life is really so big. Because the Prophet SAW, he himself said about what is the beginning of his existence. The Prophet SAW, when we asked from among the companion, what is your beginning? The Prophet said, among it, he said that I am the supplication of my father Abraham. I am the supplication of my father Abraham. Because Allah Ta'ala said in the Quran, in Surah Al-Baqarah, verse number 135. So 34. Allah Ta'ala said about the dua or the prayer or the supplication made by Abraham and also Ishmael. This is 129. Verse 129. The supplication done by Abraham and also his son Ishmael when they are building Kaabah. They said, Rabbana, O our Lord, wab'ath fihim, send unto them the people of Mecca, the people that where we built this house of you or yours, Rasulan, a messenger, minhum, from among them. So when they ask from Allah Ta'ala to be sent a messenger, then the Prophet told us in his saying that he is the prayer of his father Abraham. Ana da'watu abi Ibrahim. I am the prayer of I am the supplication of my father Abraham. So from that point we can see that supplication or doing dua to Allah Subhanahu wa Taala is so critical. So critical. Because the Prophet SAW said something like that. So we can understand that any movement in our life must start with our prayer to Allah or our supplication to Allah Subhanahu wa Taala. Wa qala Amirul Mu'minin Umar bin Khattab radhiyallahu anhu, and also the leader of believers Umar bin Khattab. That was the title they used before during the reign of the caliphs, starting from Umar bin Khattab radhiyallahu anhu. He used the title as Amirul Mu'minin, the leader of the believers. Means that all the believers from the Muslim community, the leader is Umar bin Khattab radhiyallahu anhu at that time. After that, they used actually by Uthman. and after that whoever after him, Ali and anybody else. So that's the usage of leader, Amir, meaning the leader of the people of the believers. He said, Inni la ahmilu hammal ijabati. He said, I don't bear the worry of reply. I don't carry or don't bear the worry of reply, because always happen that people want to actually worry about why my dua or my supplication is not replied by Allah. But Omar told us here in his saying that I don't ever bear the worry or the burden about reply. Walakin hammad dua, but I bear the burden or the worry about dua, or about doing the supplication. I bear the burden about doing the supplication. فَإِذَا أُلْهِمْتُ الدُّعَاءَ فَإِنَّ الْإِجَابَةَ مَعَهُ. He said that if I am being inspired by Allah to do the supplication, to do the dua, then the answer is actually with it. Come also with it. Allah Ta'ala inspired me to do the dua, then the answer also will come along with it. So if we look back at the topic of dua, we actually not far from now. We actually will be coming to the month of Ramadan, and Ramadan also being called as the month of dua. Actually, it is being called like that because of the verse number 186 in Surah Al-Baqarah, when Allah Ta'ala said in that ayat, Allah Ta'ala said, wa idza sa'alaka ibadi anni fa inni qarib. And if my servant asks you, O Muhammad, about me, then say to them, inni qarib, I am actually so near to them. Ujibu da'watad da'i idza da'an. I reply the calling of those who call me, idza da'ani, when he called me. Falyastajibu li, then try to ask from me the reply, the acceptance. Wal yu'minu bi, they have to be believe in me, la'allahum yarshudun, so that they got the guidance. So in that ayat clearly Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala in commanding the believers about fasting. Actually, in Surah Al-Baqarah, when you look at the fasting, the title of fasting, the verse start from 183 to 187. 183 to 187. All of it concerning fasting, concerning the title or topic about fasting. Starting from Ya ayyuhalladzina amanu kutiba alaikumus siyam, all people who believe is actually being obligated upon you the fasting, and ending with the ayah uhilla lakum lailatas siyam, is being permissible for you the night of fasting. So that five ayat, it is 183, 84, 185, 87, 86, 87. 5 ayat. Everything about fasting except one. It's actually the verse 186 is concerning about doa. Being told about doa. Either because of the acceptance or the reply for doa when we are actually breaking our fast, like being said by the Prophet, or when at night, when we actually pray to Allah, do salat in the night to Allah Ta'ala, the time when Allah Ta'ala saying, does anybody want to ask from me? Or maybe also because in the meantime, during fasting, the Prophet said to us that a fasting person will be answered, will be replied his dua as long as he didn't break his fast. During the fasting, your dua will be replied by Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. So when we said about dua, about supplication to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, we also have to understand that Allah Ta'ala have gave us or actually predestined upon us takdir, mean predestined about who our father, when where is our birth time, our birth, where we born, who is our friend, who is our brother and sister, what is the era where we being give birth into. Everything is actually predestined by Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala. Allah Taala give you the eyes, the nose. This actually being already been written. Everything been written by Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala. Nothing is actually doesn't come accidentally. So certain some of our friend or some of the Muslim brothers, they didn't get the full understanding, because our topic today, when we say that supplication or dua is actually the key towards the purification, the soul purification. Maybe somebody will say that I've been destined like this. Allah Ta'ala already made me like this. So how can I make a difference in my life? How could I? Because Allah Ta'ala already choose for me where I live, who is my father and my mother, who is my brother and my sister. So sometimes wrongly they understood something like that, and they left out about what Allah Ta'ala already been promised to us about the answer and the reply of dua, reply of supplication. Allah Ta'ala, He promised us that He will give. So upon us, is actually we have to carry the worry about doing the dua. You don't ever confuse yourself about saying that why should I make a supplication? Everything already been written. Why should I make supplication? Because what we understand from our understanding is actually the opposite for what the Prophet ﷺ told us to do. Because the Prophet ﷺ say to us and show us that doing supplication, doing dua to Allah Ta'ala is actually essential in our life. Nobody is actually can say that I don't want to do dua because everything is written. Because the Prophet doesn't do something like that. He didn't did something like that. He teach the disciples, he teach his companions to do the dua, to ask from Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala. That's why we actually talking about this, to make sure that you understand that your dua, your supplication to Allah have its weight, have its effect on your life. You don't say that why should I pray? Because everything is predestined. My risk is being written. My ajal, my duration in this world also being written. When I'll die also being written. Written by Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala. So sometimes the people actually want to confuse themselves with about the what being written in Allah Ta'ala, with Allah Ta'ala, and what we as a servant of Allah should do. What written by Allah is not for us to know. It's not for us to know. It's actually to make sure we understand that Allah Ta'ala is all-knowing. Nothing happened in this world without His permission. That is it. That means that nothing happened that accidentally happened. Everything by blueprint, by architecture being written by Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala. But the other part is actually we as a servant, we don't being asked to find out about our destiny. We been told to ask from Allah Ta'ala, supplicate to Him, ask from Him, then totally submit ourselves and wait for the answer, wait for the ijabah. We are not supposed to think about what being written in Allah Ta'ala. Why should we do the supplication? And Allah Subhanahu Wa Ta'ala said in the Quran, in Surah Al-Ra'd, so to make I understand about doing dua is actually so essential. Allah Ta'ala said in the Surah Al-Ra'd, the Surah of Thunder, Allah Ta'ala said, Yamhullahu ma yasha. Verse number 38 and 39. 38 and 39. We have to recite both of the ayah to understand why we should do dua. Why we should do your supplication to Allah Ta'ala. If you feel that you actually not strong, you ask for strength from Allah. If you feel that you are poor, ask for richness from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. All the things actually you have to ask from Allah ta'ala. And in that ayah, in that verse 38 and 39, Allah ta'ala said, وَلَقَدْ أَرْسَلْنَا رُسُلًا مِنْ قَبْلِكَ. Verily, O Muhammad, we have sent our messengers before you. Means that not only one, you are not the only messenger, they are messengers before you. وَجَعَلْنَا لَهُمْ أَزْوَاجًا وَذُرِّيَّةً. And we made for the messengers spouses and also children. Means that they are human like you. They are not angels. They have spouses, they're married, and they have children. And people like they have their desire, their day of sickness, day of health, day of stomach pain. Everything is actually similar with any human being. Because the Prophet ﷺ in this ayah, in this verse, actually asked from Allah Ta'ala for him to be given a capability to make sign, to show miracles every time, anytime he wants. Because the non-believers, because the people of the book, they always ask the Prophet, what is your proof? Show to us you can do this or do that. But when the Prophet have that desire to make sure that he can show everything at the time. So Allah Ta'ala said to the Prophet that before you, oh Muhammad, we send messengers like you, married to women, have spouses, and also have children. Means that human like you. And after that, Allah said, وَمَا كَانَ رَسُولٍ أَنْ يَأْتِيَ بِآيَةٍ إِلَّا بِإِذْنِ اللَّهِ. And it is not for a messenger to bring forth any sign, any miracles, except by the permission of Allah. If Allah give permission, then only He can do it. Why? لِكُلِّ أَجَلٍ كِتَابٍ. For every duration, when something will happen, it's actually being written. Meaning that Allah Ta'ala already wrote everything. When Moses hit the sea with his cane and make the sea split, that actually being written by Allah Ta'ala. So Moses doesn't do continuously, today, every day, yesterday, after that, now. No, he doesn't do something like that. He did the thing, and that is like the Prophet ﷺ. He can make a small amount of water to be sufficient for hundreds of people, but not every day. Not every day. Only when the time Allah Ta'ala give the permission, He can do it. Also, to make a small quantity of food become sufficient for hundreds of people. It also, sometimes the Prophet did it. Because the other times, the Prophet ﷺ with his companion in Medina and even in Makkah have been in starvation, even though he can do something like that. It's not every day. So Allah Ta'ala said in that ayat, وَمَا كَانَ رَسُولٍ أَنْ يَأْتِيَ بِآيَةٍ إِلَّا بِإِذْنِ اللَّهِ. It's not for the prophet or messenger to bring forth any sign, any miracles, except by the permission of Allah. Why? Because لِكُلِّ أَجَلٍ كِتَابٍ. For everything that will happen, that's all already been written. And our dua now, our supplication that we do in one thing for us, for ourselves to be purified, in one thing ourselves to be stopped from doing sin, is actually being answered in the verse of 39 of that surah, when Allah Ta'ala said, يَمْحُ اللَّهُ مَا يَشَاءُ وَيُثْبِتُ. Allah will rub off anything that He want, and also He make fix for anything that He want. Anything He want, He rub it off. Because we said before in 38, everything being written. But in 39, Allah Ta'ala said, يَمْحُ اللَّهُ مَا يَشَاءُ. Allah Ta'ala will rub off anything that He want. وَيُثْبِتْ. And also He make permanent whatever He want. You don't know which is permanent, which is being altered by Allah SWT. Upon you, like being said by Umar bin Khattab, is actually just worry about doing the dua. You don't ever thinking, is this the thing can be changed or not? Don't ever ask yourself about that. And you have to ask something that when we talking about topic of self-purification or soul purification, is actually we are saying that thing that can be changed by Allah Subhanahu wa Taala. The thing that Allah Taala will not change for you, like where do you, your birth nation or the state where you get birth to. You don't ever do something like, oh Allah, change my birthplace from Malaysia to Saudi Arabia. See, you don't do something like that. You already been born here. Or your nose is like this. Don't, oh Allah, change my nose like an elephant. That is not supposed to be done. Because Allah Ta'ala already give you, that is what you have to live with it. But about what you get tomorrow, your state of surrounding, whether it is full of iman, of belief towards Allah, piousness, taqwa, or it's actually tomorrow yourself will be actually surrounded by sin and every bad thing. That is the thing that need not happen yet. So for you, you can always pray to Allah Ta'ala, do supplication to ask for change in that thing. That's why I have to make clear about that, so that you know that your prayer is actually have effect on your life. About what will be written by Allah, you don't have to worry about that. For you, like Omar said, just worry about the doing the supplication, doing the dua, not about what will happen after the dua. Okay? And also being said here, an mutarrif ash-shikhir. Mutarrif ash-shikhir, one from among the tabi'in. He said, Mutarrif ash-shikhir said, qala tadhakkartu ma jima'ul khairi. I thought, he said one day, he thought about what is the assembly of goodness. What is the thing that can make the whole goodness happen? What is the thing that can make it? فَإِذَا الْخَيْرُ كَثِيرٌ الصَّوْمُ وَالصَّلَاةُ. And then actually, behold, when he think, he see that the abundance of fasting, abundance of praying is actually the goodness in doing many prayers, many fasting. Okay. And after that, behold, after that he think more, and behold, he said that it is in the hand of Allah. Because when you want to do prayer, make more prayer to Allah, or more fasting towards Allah, or more ibadat, we say any act of devotion to Allah Ta'ala, the thing to happen is actually in the hand of Allah. If Allah Ta'ala give permission for you to do it, then you can do it. Like today, we are attending our class today from 11 until 12:30 inshallah, or 12:50 inshallah, 15 inshallah. The thing that happened, our internet connection is here. The teacher doesn't have any problem, like such as with sickness or everything. You yourself now can have the discussion, can hear our topic today. You yourself. So everything is actually being arranged by Allah Subhanahu wa Taala to make us capable of doing whatever we want to do. Like a person want to go to Salah, Allah Ta'ala made him first healthy, and the weather is actually permissible for him to get out. If the weather is actually a hurricane happen, he cannot go out to pray. Also, not like now when Allah Ta'ala make us to have the COVID-19. So the mosque and the musalla and the mosque all over the country in the world actually being locked up for a few duration, for the safety of health for every human. So this is the thing, that when you can do prayer, can do the fasting, it's actually in the hand of Allah, because Allah Ta'ala being given you the permission. And suddenly he said, وَإِذَا أَنْتَ لَا تَقْدِرُ عَلَى مَا فِي يَدِ اللَّهِ عَزَّ وَجَلَّ إِلَّا أَنْ تَسْأَلَهُ فَيُعْطِيكَ. And behold, you are not capable for what in the hand of Allah Azza wa Jalla, except that you ask him and he give you. And suddenly he said, behold. He said, فَإِذَا, and suddenly he said that the assembly or the compilation of goodness is actually the supplication. Because you want to do many goodness, want to have the goodness, all of it have in you. And suddenly you see that doing many salah, many prayer, and many fasting, that is it. But the problem is, you cannot do something like that except Allah Ta'ala give you permission. All of it being arranged by Allah Ta'ala for you to have the capability to do the ibadah itself. And suddenly, you cannot get anything from Allah Ta'ala except you ask from Him and He give you. And suddenly he said that he understand that supplication or dua is actually the gatherer for every goodness, a goodness for a person. For that, we can see that in the topic of tazkiyah or purification, self-purification, is true from the Prophet SAW that he said, Sahha an Nabi SAW annahu qala fi du'aihi, in his supplication, the Prophet said, Allahumma ati nafsi taqwaha. Oh Allah, bring forth to my soul its piousness. Mean that for your soul to be a pious, we say taqwa, to have worry about doing bad things that Allah Ta'ala will be mad to you, upon you, angry upon you, or to always do what Allah Ta'ala told you, so that Allah Ta'ala will love you. The feeling is piousness is actually what can we say that being given by Allah Ta'ala to us. So the Prophet SAW said in his dua, Allahumma ati nafsi taqwaha. Oh Allah, bring forth for my soul is piousness. Means that Allah Ta'ala can give you that feeling. And wazakkiha, and also purify it. Purify my soul, oh Allah. Purify my soul. Anta khairu man zakkaha. For you are the best who purify it. You are the best who can purify my soul. Anta waliyuha maulaha. You are its guardian. You are its protector. My soul is actually being protected, being guarded by you. So this is the supplication that the Prophet SAW did when he want from Allah Ta'ala to make him more pious, to make his soul being cleansed by Allah SWT. Even one of the supplication being done by the Prophet SAW in the night prayer, when he opened his prayer in the night, he will say, among what he said is actually, Allah mahdini li ahsanil akhlaq. Oh Allah, guide me to the best akhlaq. فَإِنَّهُ لَا يَهْدِينِي إِلَىٰ أَحْسَنِهَا إِلَّا أَنْتَ. Because nobody can guide me to the best akhlaq except you. Except you. So when he want to have his manners become better than whatever he was, he asked from Allah Ta'ala to give his self a good manner, a best manner, because Allah Ta'ala is the one can give him the best manner. And also, he said here, وَفِي هَذَا الدُّعَى, in that dua, the dua that the Prophet ﷺ said, إِشَارَةٌ وَتَنْبِيهٌ, there is an indicator and reminder, عَلَى أَنَّ تَزْكِيَةَ النُّفُوسِ, that the soul purification, بِيَدِلَّهِ, is actually in the hand of Allah, عَلَّامُ الْغُيُوبِ, the all-knowing of the unseen. وَأَنَّ مِفْتَاحَهَا, and also the key, for the biggest key, وَأَنَّ مِفْتَاحَ الْأَعْظَمِ, the biggest key for self-purification, huwa du'a wa iftiqar, is actually the supplication and neediness, the neediness inside your soul, or also the supplication, the dua that you made, ila Allah Ta'ala, towards Allah, the Almighty. Walihada, and because of that, most of the supplication of the Prophet SAW is Ya muqallibal qulub. Walihada kana aktsaru du'a'in nabi. Because of that, the most of the prayer or the supplication of the Prophet SAW being said by his wife and his companion. Then this one is actually being narrated by At-Tirmidhi. She said that, Aisha said that most of the prayer of the Prophet is Ya Muqallibal Qulub. Ya Muqallibal Qulub. Oh, you who overturn the heart. Means that making the heart to feel sometimes like this and sometimes like that. Because we actually cannot control our heart. To like something or to despise something is actually something that is not in our control. I can see some people actually they doesn't like certain food at one time, and you come again to the person after 2 or 3 years, suddenly he's actually the one who actually being crazy about the food that he doesn't like few years ago. This the likeness to something or the despise feeling of despise towards something in your soul is actually being controlled by Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala. Being controlled by Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala. When we said Allah Ta'ala control it, doesn't mean that you just let go. You just say that, then Allah Ta'ala want to do anything to me. I don't want to do anything. No. Because the Prophet show us that he know about Allah Ta'ala power, Allah's power, about making the heart swaying towards one side to another. Then the Prophet asked from Allah Ta'ala, Thabbit qalbi ala dini, steadfast, fix my heart on your religion. Means that my heart will sway to any place, any part, anything, any situation. But oh Allah, make my heart to steadfast and also fix upon your religion. This is what when you know Allah Ta'ala making your heart to sway to love something, hate something, you ask Allah Ta'ala to make you always be inside his religion, inside his command, not lefting out any of his command. That is the way. When you know Allah Ta'ala's name and also his attributes, you use it to make dua. Use it to make dua, not to become despair. Not to become despair and doesn't ask from him anything. When he say here, فَمَتَجْتَمَعَ عَلَى الْعَبْدِ قَلْبُهُ, and when it is united for a servant, his heart, means that his heart doesn't have any junction, thinking about one thing only. This is the thing that we have to understand. Sometimes our prayer, our supplication towards Allah, not really what we say united. Our will or our desire. We always have many things. We say, I want this and this and this and this and many things. Then sometimes Allah Ta'ala answering your prayer and giving you part of it because He know what is better for you. Suddenly you think that Allah Ta'ala didn't give you anything. Because your heart is actually being pleased to many things. At one time you want to ask Allah Ta'ala. That's why some of the scholars said that when the Prophet ﷺ said about Lis-Sa'imi for the fast, one who doing the fasting, in the fitrihi, when he want to break his fast, da'watun, there's one dua, one supplication, la turat, it will not be rejected. So when you are breaking your fast, the scholar said, try to ask only one thing, because you want to take your manners toward the hadith, because the hadith said one dua. So you want other thing, ask for tomorrow. Do another fasting. You don't ever put in one fasting, one place where you feel that your dua is actually, your supplication will be answered. You put there everything. This is wrong. Because what do you want to say here? When the servant is united for a servant, his heart means that when you ask something, all his desire, all his mean is actually being concentrated to one thing only. Okay? Wasadaqat daruratuhu wafaqatuhu, and also his desperateness and his hopelessness was true to Allah. And also waqawiya raja'uhu, and his expectation expectation towards Allah, and his hope towards Allah was strong. Walam yata'ajjal al-ijabah, and he doesn't rush up the reply. Rushing up a reply is by a person saying, the Prophet said to the companion, that Allah Ta'ala will answer the supplication or the dua from a servant, as long as the servant doesn't rush the supplication. Or the answer or the reply. So the companion asked the Prophet, what is rushing? A person rush the reply from Allah. The Prophet said, a person do supplication to Allah, and he said, after a while, he said that I already do my supplication, but Allah Ta'ala doesn't answer me. The feeling or the words essentially will make your prayer or your dua or your supplication being rejected. That's why here our author, Sheikh Abderrazzaaq Al-Badr, he said that few things that will make our dua, our prayer, our supplication be answered. First, actually our soul, our heart must be united to one thing only when asking Allah Ta'ala. Secondly, our hopelessness and also our desperateness towards Allah must be true. If we doesn't have the true feeling that we really need Allah Ta'ala in making what our desire become true, also the thing will fail. And also our expectation or our hope is actually very, very high with Allah Ta'ala when because Allah Ta'ala said, the Prophet said, Allah Ta'ala said, Ana inda zanni abdi bi. I am as my servant thought about me. If a servant thought Allah Ta'ala will give, then Allah Ta'ala will give. If a person, a servant, think Allah Ta'ala will not give him, Allah Ta'ala will not give him. We must always have good feeling towards Allah Ta'ala. Good feeling towards Allah Ta'ala. Don't ever have bad feeling about Allah Subhanahu Wa Ta'ala. That's the thing that the Prophet told us not to do. So when everything, and also the person doesn't rush the answer from Allah Ta'ala by saying, I already prayed, but Allah Ta'ala doesn't answer me. Then also, the fifth one, وَتَحَرَّ أَوْقَاتَ الْفَاضِلَةِ وَتَحَرَّ أَوْقَاتَ الْفَاضِلَةِ. And also, he inquired the advantageous time, means that during last set of the night, he choose. He doesn't just pray or do supplication anytime, anywhere, but he choose the time that the Prophet said will be answered by Allah Ta'ala, like last step of the night, or after Asar in Jum'ah, after Asar in Yawmul Jum'ah, or any hour in the Jum'ah, or during the pouring of rain, or after doing any acts of virtues, act of devoutness, like fasting, or after prayer, after salat. So the person must choose the time for him to pray, to ask, to do supplication to Allah Ta'ala. Okay, if he done all the fifth things here, he said that fala yakadu yuraddu du'a'uhu. His supplication is almost not rejected, because Allah Ta'ala knows what best for him. So actually, when we say here, doing the supplication, you also have to make sure you are actually do the manners of observing the manners of doing supplication towards Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala. And also here he said, وَأَعْظَمَ مَا يُعِينُكَ عَلَى الدُّعَاءِ. And the biggest thing that will help you in your supplication, ma'rifatuka anna zakata nafsika biyadillah. Your knowledge that your soul purification is in the hand of Allah Azza wa Jalla. If you know, you have that knowledge. Because now, actually, the problem is, many people, many human, do supplication to Allah, ask from Allah Ta'ala many things, but he doesn't feel that Allah Ta'ala is capable to do something like that to him, to make sure that he have sufficient needs for everything, every daily life. he doesn't think something like that, because like we can we say in Malay, they have a wording that something actually is not supposed to be say something like that. Maybe they meant other meaning, but the problem is many people understand for that we say that proverb or that saying, uh, don't do anything, don't ask from Allah Ta'ala anything, because He will not give you. We say the word is nasi cupak takkan jadi segantang, beras cupak takkan jadi segantang. Whatever actually a cupak is actually when you take full hand of rice grain in your hand is called cupak. And if only one of these, it doesn't ever will be four of that. Four. Because four of this is one gantang. Satu cupak, satu gantang, 4 cupak. So when he said that, they said something like that. As if saying that, don't ever try. We said, if we are talking about things that happen, you born a son or daughter of a person, you cannot change something like that. You married and you got a son or a daughter with something with say unperfectness or everything. It's really something that you cannot change. Thing happen cannot be changed. But the problem about if that saying about something like that, we accept. But if the saying want to say that if your work, your salary is like that, don't ever think that you will get more than that. That is actually wrong, because Allah SWT can suffice you, can give you, can enrich you with His greatness, with His power. He can change the situation and give you more than what you supposed to earn. And that is what you say. You have to have that feeling. Like also when you want a purification of your soul, you have to know that Allah Ta'ala is the one in His hand, the purification of the soul. So you cannot get purification of soul except from Allah Subhanahu Wa Ta'ala. Because when we say something like this, we did see some of our people in Malaysia, they run away from the society, live in caves and do meditation inside the cave in the forest, just to get the purification of soul, saying that they want to be cleansed, but they doesn't want to follow the way of Muhammad SAW, because the Prophet SAW doesn't ever told his companion, his disciples, to go to those places that I mentioned and stay there, meditate there until you get your purification of soul. Doesn't ever. But when you have that feeling that a person become great after staying inside a cave, a person become great, can do miracles after staying in a forest, you being actually your feeling towards the purification of soul is totally in the hand of Allah. It's actually crumble. It doesn't become any belief anymore. You always say that I can follow the way of the Prophet SAW, the way he taught, and I can follow the way of that guru, that ustad, that person, the way of Hindus, the way of Buddhists. So we'll start to think about that. So the biggest thing he said here that will help you in purification of your soul is actually the knowledge that your soul purification is in the hand of Allah Azza wa Jalla. Fallahu huwa alladhi yuzakki man yasha. Because Allah, He is the one who purified whoever He wanted. Whoever He wanted, He actually the one who purified. Yeah? And also, and wal amru kulluhu lah. And the matter is to Him only. And tahta masyiatihi, and under His will. Under His will, His wish. He want that, it will happen. If He doesn't want that, it will not happen. Allah Ta'ala said in the Quran, Allah Ta'ala, as being said by Allah, the Almighty in the Quran, in Surah An-Nisa, verse number 49. Verse number 49. Balillahu yuzakki man yasha. But Allah, He purifies whoever He will. Whoever He wants, He purifies the person. And he also, the Almighty also said in the Surah of An-Nur, Surah An-Nur, verse number 21. Verse number 21. Allah Ta'ala said, "Walaula fadlullahi alaikum wa rahmatuhu." And if not for the favor of Allah and His mercy, ma zaka minkum min ahad. Not one of you would be purified. Nobody will be purified. Balillah, abada, ever, ever. Walakin Allah, but Allah Ta'ala, yuzakki man yasha, He purified whom He will. Because He wanted you to be purified, He will purify you. If not, you cannot ever get purification except from Him. That's the thing. Because if you understand that, then only your, neediness, your hopelessness, your supplication towards Him will be totally truth, not only by following others. Because we actually right now, some of us actually just doing the prayer and everything because another person told him to do, not because he know that Allah Ta'ala will answer and Allah Ta'ala is capable to give him whatever in his supplication being said. Yaqul Ibn Abbas, the cousin of the Prophet ﷺ, he said, Yaqul Ibn Abbas, he said that mahtada, when he actually commenting, Ibn Abbas commenting in the ayah of Surah An-Nur, verse number 21, when Allah said, ma zaka minkum, not one of you will be purified. If Allah Ta'ala doesn't want, then nobody will be purified. So the companion of the Prophet, his cousin Ibn Abbas, said in his comment about that ayat, he said, mahtada ahadun minal khalaiki li syai'in minal khairi yanfa'uhu bihi nafsahu. Actually, anyone among the creatures, the creatures, it means that human being and the jinns will not be guided to anything of the goodness that will benefit for him from it himself. Anything that he can benefit from it himself. Walam yattaqi syai'a, and he also he will be protected from anything syai'a min asyarri, from the badness, wickedness, yadfa'uhu an nafsihi, then that he can defend himself. Meaning kullu syai'in inama huwa bimahdi fadlillahi azza wa jalla, meaning that all of these things is actually merely by the favor of Allah. Means that Allah Ta'ala want you to get it, you will get it. If Allah Ta'ala doesn't want you to get it, you will not get it. That's the thing. But actually we want to emphasize the understanding by he saying that nobody will get guidance among the creatures towards the goodness that he can benefit himself, and also he can protect himself from any badness that he prevent from himself, except because of Allah Ta'ala's favor. Okay. Waqala Al-Barra bin Azib, he's actually one of the companions of the Prophet ﷺ. He said, the messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Allah Ta'ala good prayer and his peace upon him. Yawm al-Ahzab was during the event of Ahzab. Ahzab is actually the occurrence happened when the 4th year of Hijrah, when the Prophet ﷺ and the believers in Madinah being hostage or being surrounded by the kuffar. The kuffar, thousands of them came to Madinah. They want to enter Madinah, but the Prophet and the companion and his companion dig not a hole. It's actually dig a canal to avoid the mushrik, the non-believers to enter Madinah. So when doing the digging, the Prophet ﷺ was moving the soil with us. Yang yadkhulu ma'ana at-turab. The Prophet SAW was moving the soil with his companion. And he said that walaqad warat turabu bayada batnihi. And the soil had covered the whiteness of his belly. Means that all his body being covered with soil, with dirt. With dirt. And the Prophet, when doing that, he was saying, Wallahi laulallahu mahtadaina wala tasaddaqna wala sallayna. By Allah, if not Allah, not because of Allah, we wouldn't be guided. We wouldn't be guided. We wouldn't be donating. We wouldn't be praying. It's not because of Allah. We will not get guidance. We will not be donating our wealth. We will not do prayer. Because actually the Prophet ﷺ with his companion at that time when doing the work, they always want to let off some of the tiredness by making the saying. Actually, the saying is actually quite long. The Prophet said, Allahumma la insha illa inshul akhirah. Oh Allah, there's no life except the life of akhirah. Faghfir lil ansar wal muhajirah. Then, oh Allah, forgive al-ansar and muhajirah. And the companion answered, Nahnu alladhina baya'u Muhammadan ala jihadi ma baqina abada. We are the one who make promise to Muhammad on jihad. We will continue forever. So the Prophet SAW answered, Wallahi laulallahu mahtadaina. Really by Allah. If not for Allah, not because of Allah, we wouldn't be guided. Wala tasaddaqna, wala sallayna. We will not doing a donation. We will not be praying. If not because of Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala. This is actually what you say emphasizing the meaning that we are actually talking right now. That the only things that make us have our ibadah, our act of devotion, our prayer, our fasting is because of Allah Ta'ala. Then if you want to have that your soul being purified, also you have to go back to Allah Subhanahu Wa Ta'ala. So we say here, fal hidayatu, then hidayah, guidance, wal iman, belief, wal khair, goodness, kulluhu, all of it, biyadillahi wahdahu, is in the hand of Allah, only Him. Wa qad kana Rasulullah sallallahu yaghrisu hadzal amra fi nufusi sahabati radhiyallahu anhum. And the Prophet sallallahu was actually planting this matter, this belief, this knowledge in the soul of the companion. May Allah Ta'ala please upon them. And wa yu'akkidu alayhi bi istimrar. And the Prophet ﷺ emphasizes it continuously. Continuously he emphasized the meaning. He ﷺ was opening his sermon by saying, and the Prophet ﷺ the Prophet ﷺ was before yastahilu khutbatahu. He opened his sermon, his Friday sermon or his any sermon by saying biqaulihi man yahdihillahu fala mudillalah. Whoever being guided by Allah, there's no deviator for him. Wa man yudlil, and whoever Allah Ta'ala deviate, misguide him, fala hadiyalah, then no guider for him. We always, when we start our speech, we always say that word from the Prophet SAW. To make us realize that guidance and deviate from guidance is actually from Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala. He but the tools actually many. Maybe the shaitan jinns, maybe shaitan from among the human will deviate you, but Allah Ta'ala is the one that give the permission for them to do it. And if Allah Ta'ala want to make your feeling or your heart doesn't sway to them, Allah Ta'ala can. That's why you have to ask Him. Ask Him to make sure that you don't go towards that type of situation. Fahadal aslu. Then actually this basic or this we say rules is the biggest doors. Huwa a'zamul abwab is the biggest doors li Tazkiyah An-Nafs, for self purification, for soul purification. Faman alima anna salaha nafsihi wa zakatiha wa zakataha wa istiqamataha, whoever know that his soul improvement, his purification and steadfastness, biyadillah, in the hand of Allah Azza wa Jalla, laja ilaihi, he will turn to him. Whoever know this, he will turn to him. Whenever he feel that the situation around him is not really actually improving towards goodness, then he should turn towards Allah and ask for Allah Ta'ala's power to make him become a more pious person. Not just waiting, ask from Allah Ta'ala. Ask from Allah Ta'ala. Wa aqbala ala babihi, and the person who know this, he will come to his door. Mulihan alaihi bid-du'a, persisting on it with supplication. Day after day, night after night, always he asks. Because he know that Allah Ta'ala is the one can open for him the door towards the self-purification. He will come to Allah Ta'ala, not running away to look after or to look for other ways than the ways of Allah Ta'ala will give him. Rajian mutami'an, and when he was doing his supplication and actually persisting on the door of Allah, he will have the feeling of hoping and wanting. He want it very, very hard. Really wanting whatever Allah Ta'ala will give him. Liyanala minhu zakata nafsihi, so that to gain from him his soul purification. Wanajataha wa falahaha, also his safety and his success. Fid dunya wal akhirah, in this world and also in the akhirah. So that's the thing about dua. So we have we know that we actually have to do dua, more dua towards Allah, and to find the time that Allah Ta'ala will give answer towards our dua, like the last third of the night. That now today right now our Muslim friend from around the world, actually our community here in Malaysia, in our society, we can see that the hope about getting answer from Allah Ta'ala in doing the supplication is clearly actually being faded away. Doesn't have the strong feeling anymore. People will do something that not been told by the Prophet ﷺ, like reciting Surah Yasin and doing hajat prayer. But the things that the Prophet told us about last third of the night, that Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala will ask to the whole world. Do anybody have anything to ask me? So I will give him. Allah Ta'ala is actually calling towards us every night, but nobody actually care about that, or rarely care about that. This is what I think we can take today from our class. We will see about the question, inshallah. Assalamualaikum, Ustaz and team AK. Shukran for the class. I would like to ask, is it okay to only rely on dua that were taught by Rasulullah SAW? All his dua are completely thorough and beautiful. Actually, we actually do have a class concerning that title. We will do it in Malay language every first week and third week in a month, or actually we can say that odd numbers week. If we have five Saturday night, five Thursday night. In that month, we will have 3 classes. If we have only 2, then 2 lah. It's only 2 classes. So in that topic, the topic about fiqh of dua and zikir, fiqh of doing supplication towards Allah Ta'ala and remembering Him, zikir and actually remembering Allah Ta'ala and doing supplication to Allah Ta'ala. This saying at the introduction from Ibn Qayyim al-Jawziyah, when he said that it's actually so shameful for a person to left out what being taught by the Prophet SAW from among the dua or the prayer or the what the Prophet SAW asked from Allah Ta'ala and go towards anybody else supplication. Can say anybody. We can say that he said by a saint or by an ustaz or by a mufti. It cannot be compared by what being said by the Prophet SAW. Surely, because the Prophet SAW is the one who most have the best connection with Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala. He knows best because Allah Taala send the Prophet to us is actually for two things. First, to make sure that we know our God, Allah, and secondly, we know how to do our worship or act of devotion towards Allah. And among the act of devotion is actually doing supplication. So yes, doing the dua or making the supplication by learning what the Prophet SAW taught us is actually the best. It's the best. But the problem is the class will be in Malay language. We maybe in the future we can change or we can add up a new class in English about that topic. Wallahu alam. Okay. I think there's no question there. Okay. We can stop here, I think, right now, because our class will be 12:15. So 1 hour and 15 minutes, inshallah. So we'll stop here. Inshallah, in next week, inshallah, we will go to the third rule of self-replication. We have 10 rules, and after that we can change our book, inshallah, to find more abundant let's say information concerning self-replication, inshallah. Baik. Wallahu alam. Wa sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammad wa sallam. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.